Move on. Definition: to leave a job or situation. Example number 1. When I was 18, I decided it was time to move on. Meaning, I decided it was time to leave the small town I lived in and move into the city. Example number 2. Greg was tired of dating Sheila, and he told her he had to move on. Meaning, he told her that the relationship was no longer good for him and he had to end it.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
Did you hear that Emily is leaving the company?
Really? I didn't know she was planning to move on.
Yes, she found a new opportunity and decided it was time to move on to something different.
Good for her. It's important to find the right path for yourself.
Pick up on. Definition: to notice or understand something subtle. Example number 1. Did you pick up on the fact that Tammy was wearing her shirt inside out? Meaning, did you notice she was wearing her shirt inside out? Example number 2. I picked up on the way Charles criticized his wife. Meaning, I noticed the subtle way in which Charles criticized his wife.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
Did you notice how quiet John has been in the meetings lately?
Yes, I picked up on that. Do you think something's wrong?
I'm not sure, but maybe we should ask if he needs any help.
Good idea. It's important to pick up on these changes and offer support.
Piss off. Definition: to anger. Example number 1. Ted's rude behavior really pissed me off. Meaning, his rude behavior made me very angry. Example number 2. Debbie told me not to piss off our new coworker because he had a bad temper. Meaning, she told me not to do anything to make him angry because he has a bad temper.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
You seem upset. Did something happen?
Yeah, I got really pissed off at work today. Someone took credit for my idea.
That's not fair. I can see why that would piss you off.
It's frustrating, but I'll talk to my manager about it tomorrow.
Pin down. Definition: to make someone commit to or be clear about something. Example number 1. If you don't pin Mary down to a date for the party, she'll never start planning it. Meaning, if you don't make her commit to a date, she'll procrastinate and she'll never start planning it. Example number 2. If you want to find out when the construction is starting, you have to pin Mike down. Meaning, you have to talk to him and make him commit to a start date.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
Have you been able to schedule the meeting with the marketing team?
I'm trying, but it's hard to pin them down for a date and time. They're always so busy.
Maybe you can send a few options and ask them to choose one.
Good idea. I'll try that. It should help pin down the best time for everyone.
Pass up. Definition: to not take advantage of an opportunity or an offer. Example number 1. Even though the new job offer I got was much farther away, I couldn't pass it up because the salary was higher. Meaning, even though it was farther away, I wanted to take advantage of the offer because of the higher salary. Example number 2. When it was time for dessert, I couldn't pass up the cheesecake, even though I was on a diet. Meaning, even though I was on a diet, I had to order the cheesecake because it looked so delicious.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
Did you hear about the free training sessions next week?
Yes, but I'm thinking of passing it up. I'm too busy right now.
It might be a good opportunity, though. Are you sure you want to pass it up?
I know, but I don't want to overcommit. Maybe there will be another chance later.
Move up. Definition: to get a better job or move to a higher level. Example number 1. I was so happy when my fiancé moved up the ladder at work. Meaning, I was happy when he got promoted to a better position in his company. Example number 2. When I started working for Jeff, he told me if I did a good job, I'd move up in the company. Meaning, he told me if I did a good job, I'd get promoted to a higher position.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
Congratulations on your promotion. You really moved up quickly in the company.
Thank you. I've worked hard, and I'm excited about the new challenges ahead.
It's great to see you moving up. You deserve it.
I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to starting the new role and making a difference.
Mix up. Definition: to mistake a person or thing for another. Example number 1. My neighbor has twin daughters, and I always mix them up. Meaning, I can never tell her daughters apart. Example number 2. My friend Matthew has a voice that's similar to my boss's voice, and I always mix them up on the phone. Meaning, they sound a lot alike, and I always mistake one for the other when talking on the phone.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
I called Mike about the issue, but he seemed confused.
Oh, I think you mixed up Mike with Mark. Mark is the one handling that project.
Oops, my mistake. I always mix them up because their names are so similar.
It's okay. Just try to remember that Mark deals with projects and Mike is in finance.
Open up. Definition: to express your feelings or your thoughts. Example number 1. I can't help you unless you open up to me. Meaning, I can't help you with your problems unless you tell me what's going on. Example number 2. My boyfriend is a private person and he always keeps things to himself, but I told him he needs to open up if we're going to have a healthy relationship. Meaning, I told him he needs to express his thoughts and feelings in order for us to have a good relationship.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
You seem a bit quiet today. Is everything okay?
I'm just feeling a bit overwhelmed with work.
It's good to open up about it. Talking can help.
Thanks. I guess I need to open up more instead of keeping it all inside.
Pour out. Definition: to say in a rush, usually something private that one has been holding back. Example number 1. I thought something was bothering Pam, but she wouldn't talk about it. Then last week, she suddenly poured her heart out to me. Meaning, she suddenly told me about the problems that have been bothering her. Example number 2. Paul poured out his heart to me. Meaning, He told me about all the personal problems he has that he hasn't shared with anyone.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
I didn't expect the meeting with the counselor to be so intense.
What happened? I just started talking, and suddenly all my feelings poured out. I didn't realize how much I was holding back. That sounds like it was needed. Do you feel better after pouring it all out?
Yes, I actually do. It was like a weight lifted off my shoulders.
Pick on. Definition: to tease or mistreat someone. Example number 1. I felt sorry for the new student because some of the boys were picking on him. Meaning, I felt sorry for him because some boys were teasing him and treating him badly. Example number 2. When Tara's friends started picking on her, she began to cry. Meaning, when her friend was teasing her and mistreating her, she started to cry.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
I noticed that Jake has been picking on you lately. Are you okay?
It's been tough. He teases me a lot, and I don't know why.
That's not right. Have you thought about talking to someone about it?
I'm considering it. I don't want to be picked on anymore.
Own up to. Definition: to admit to a wrong one has done. Example number 1. Daniel might not always do the right thing, but at least he's man enough to own up to his mistakes. Meaning, it's good that he's mature enough to admit what he's done wrong. Example number 2. When the store owner accused the boy of stealing candy, the boy owned up to it. Meaning, he admitted what he did wrong.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
I heard there was a mix-up with the client's order. Do you know what happened?
Actually, it was my fault. I need to own up to it and apologize. I entered the wrong information.
It's good that you're willing to own up to the mistake. Everyone makes errors sometimes.
I just hope I can fix the issue and learn from this experience.
Pile up. Definition: to increase in quantity or amount. Example number 1. I can't go out of the office for lunch because my work's piling up and I need to finish it before 5 o'clock. Meaning, I can't go out for lunch because the amount of work I have keeps increasing and I need to finish it by 5 o'clock. Example number 2. When I was away, my work piled up and now I have to work extra hours all week to finish it. Meaning, while I was away, a lot of work was left for me. So when I went back, I had a lot of work to finish.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
Have you seen the stack of orders we have to process today? They really piled up overnight.
Yes, I noticed. We were slow yesterday, and now we have a lot to catch up on.
We need to work efficiently to get through this pile-up.
Agreed. Let's start tackling them now before they pile up even more.
Put down. Definition: to insult or criticize in a mean or cruel way. Example number 1. I don't get along well with people who are always putting others down. Meaning, I don't get along with people who insult and criticize people in a cruel way. Example number 2. Robert's girlfriend was always putting him down, so he finally broke up with her. meaning his girlfriend was constantly criticizing him in a mean way, so he ended their relationship.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
I felt bad in the meeting today. Tom kept putting me down in front of everyone.
That's not okay. No one should put you down like that.
It made me lose confidence. I don't know why he has to be so mean.
You should talk to someone about it. It's important to address when someone puts you down unfairly.
Put up with. Definition: to tolerate. Example number 1. I have to put up with Peggy because she's my mother-in-law, but I really don't like her. Meaning, I have to tolerate her, but I don't enjoy being around her. Example number 2. Marcia couldn't put up with Jack's rude behavior anymore, so she broke up with him. Meaning, she couldn't tolerate his rude behavior, and she broke up with him.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
How do you put up with the noise from the construction site next to your house?
It's tough, but I've gotten used to it. I just put up with it during the day and look forward to quiet evenings.
I admire your patience. I don't think I could put up with that much noise.
Thanks. Sometimes, you just have to tolerate things until they improve.
Put in. Definition: to spend the time doing something or working. Example number 1. We've put a lot of work into our house since we've bought it. Meaning, we've done a lot of things to our house to improve it. Example number 2. I've put a lot of time and effort into this project. I hope it's successful. Meaning, I've worked hard on this project and hope it's successful.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
You've been working late a lot these days.
Yes, I've had to put in extra hours to finish the project on time.
That sounds exhausting.
It is, but it will be worth it once the project is completed successfully.
Put someone on. Definition: the act of teasing or misleading someone, especially for amusement. A prank or a joke. Example number 1. I knew John was putting me on when he said he won the lottery. Meaning, I knew he was joking and it wasn't true. Example number 2. I thought my sister was putting me on when she said she was pregnant, but it was really true. Meaning, I didn't think my sister was telling the truth when she said she was pregnant, but it was really true.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
Did you really win the lottery, or are you just putting me on?
I'm just putting you on. I wish I had won the lottery.
You got me for a second there. Don't put me on like that.
Sorry, I couldn't resist. It was just a little joke.
Put off. Definition: to delay or postpone something to a later date. Example number 1. We had to put off our wedding because my fiancé was injured in a bad accident. Meaning, we postponed the wedding because my fiancé was injured. Example number 2. I put off doing my taxes and I had to rush to my accountant to get them done. Meaning, I kept postponing doing my taxes and had to rush to get them done before the deadline.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
Are we still meeting for our project discussion today?
Can we put it off until tomorrow? I'm really swamped with work today.
Sure, we can reschedule. It's important not to rush it.
Thanks for understanding. I just need a bit more time to prepare.
Rip-off. Definition: to charge more for something than it's worth. Example number 1. I hate getting ripped off. Meaning, I hate when someone overcharges me for something. Example number 2. I don't shop in the clothing store in my neighborhood because it's always a rip-off. Meaning, I don't shop there because they always overcharge for things.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
I paid $50 for this shirt, but I think it was too much.
That sounds like a rip-off. The same shirt is available online for $30.
Really? I didn't check other prices. I feel like I got ripped off.
Next time, let's compare prices before buying to avoid getting ripped off.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
Rub off on. Definition: to acquire a habit or quality of another person. Example number 1. I'm afraid Joe's bad habits will rub off on my daughter. Meaning, I'm afraid my daughter will acquire some of his bad habits. Example number 2. It's not good to spend time with negative people because their negative attitude can rub off on you. Meaning, it's not good to spend time with them because you can acquire their negative attitude.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
You've become very punctual lately. What changed?
I think your habit of being on time has rubbed off on me.
That's great to hear. It's good when positive habits rub off on others.
Definitely. Your organization skills are starting to rub off on me too.
Read up on. Definition: to become informed about a subject. Example number 1. I wanted to learn more about photography, so I read up on it. Meaning, I researched it to learn more about it. Example number 2. I read up on remodeling so I can decide what changes I want to make to my home. Meaning, I needed to learn more about remodeling, so I did some research on it.
Let's look at an example of an everyday conversation.
I saw you checking out a lot of books on gardening. What's the interest?
I'm planning to start a garden, so I'm reading up on it to learn the basics.
That sounds like a fun project. Have you learned anything interesting?
Yes, a lot. Reading up on soil and plant types has been really helpful.
To leave a job or situation. Move on. To notice or understand something subtle. Pick up on. To anger. Piss off. To make someone commit to or be clear about something. Pin down. To not take advantage of an opportunity or an offer. Pass up. To get a better job or move to a higher level. Move up. To mistake a person or thing for another. Mix up. To express your feelings or your thoughts. Open up. To say in a rush, usually something private that one has been holding back. Pour out. To tease or mistreat someone. pick on. To admit to a wrong one has done. Own up to. To increase in quantity or amount. Pile up. To insult or criticize in a mean or cruel way. Put down. To tolerate. Put up with. To spend the time doing something or working. Put in. The act of teasing or misleading someone, especially for amusement. A prank or a joke. Put someone on. To delay or postpone something to a later date. Put off. To charge more for something than it's worth. Rip off. To acquire a habit or quality of another person. Rub off on. To become informed about a subject. Read up on.
Did you find our exploration of English idioms insightful? Kindly like, subscribe, and activate notifications for more enlightening content. Thank you for watching.